making sure your shops are correct and everything is tickety boo for that. But I wanted to jump on. So if you are tuning in on the replay, please hashtag replay, let me know. Feel free to add any questions. I will check back afterwards, and feel free to tag someone who might benefit as well from this, who's a member of Pod. Um, yeah, so who am I? For those of you who don't know me, my name's Sarah Stevens. I'm a PR expert. I've been doing PR for over 20 years. Please say hello, jump in the comments, let me know if you're who's tuning in, because I always like to have a bit of engagement from my audience. So please do jump into the comments and let me know who is watching. So yeah, I've got over 20 years experience in PR. Working for big brands, big international brands, and also smaller SMEs and startup businesses. Working on thought leadership for them in the marketplace, increasing their profiles, making them experts in their field, and it all helps to build know like and trust and increase visibility, which obviously can then drive people to your shops and websites and things like that. If you're tuning in, please say hello, let me know who is. So yeah, so that's me. So I've done PR for a variety of different industries, and I also now help entrepreneurs to do their own PR too. So just for those of you tuning in who don't really know PR, or there's a lot of people that get PR mixed up with advertising and marketing, things like that. I always have a favourite analogy that I start things off with in this group so that we're all on the same wavelength. So my favourite analogy is this one. Um, there's a guy and a girl go on a date. Um, let's call her Jane, and he's Michael, for no real reason, but there is. And so they go on a date, and Michael turns up and goes, "Hi, I'm clever. I'm rich. I'm successful. I'm handsome. I've got a great dress sense. Look out there. That's my Ferrari in the car park. I'm just the catch of the day. I'm amazing." Now, Michael is advertising himself to Jane. Okay, so that's advertising. If Michael arrived and said to Jane, "Oh, wow, you're stunning. You're so much nicer than your photo. Um, like, wow, I can see from your smile that you're a really happy, engaging, lovely person. From your eyes, I can see that you radiate intelligence. And what an amazing dress sense you have. That colour really suits you." He is telling Jane what he wants her to hear and what she wants to hear. So he is marketing to Jane. That's in essence what marketing is. You're telling them what they want to hear. Okay? Now, say Jane was to go to the toilet during her date to put a bit more makeup on or whatever. She nips to the toilet. In there, she bumps into another girl who goes, "Oh, can I just say, you're here on a date with Michael. I went to school with him. He is the nicest guy you could ever meet. He's so modest, like he's super successful, really clever, but you wouldn't tell you because he's just so modest about everything. He's got the nicest family. He's his mum's wonderful. He drives a gorgeous sports car. He lives in its most gorgeous cottage that he bought outright because he's that successful. But he won't tell you all of this, so I'm going to tell you now. But he is the nicest guy, and you are so lucky to be on a date with him. Now, that is PR. That is someone else endorsing you. And that is so much more valuable than either of the other two that I described. But for those of you who don't really understand PR, that kind of puts it in perspective that PR is someone else endorsing you, basically. So I like to think of PR as personal relationships. It's building those personal relationships, whether they are your customers, your stakeholders, so your suppliers, other businesses who have similar target markets to you but don't compete with you. It's how many members of staff you've got, and it's the media as well. So all of those fall under the personal relationship category, and it's managing those relationships is what PR is about, so that all of these different people, if asked about you, will say good things. Okay? And will recommend you. Hi Joe, glad you're tuning in. I've had a few people have a little look and then maybe are disappointed that I'm not in my witch's outfit from the photo. I've joined and then gone, oh no, she's not dressed as a witch, I'm not interested. I do have a bat, look at my bat, because I'm a bit bats. But yeah, all the Halloween jokes today. And puns. Um, but yeah, I'm working my PR magic today. Loads of things have just landed for clients. It's like amazing, the magical energy of today. So yeah, amazing. So I've made more of a Halloween effort than you have. Well, I don't usually have to make much of an effort for Halloween. I know on that photo I've got a witch's hat on and a black outfit, but I do wear a lot of black. Um, and all I really need to do is put dark black lipstick on, wear black. That's it. I'm so pale. Don't even really need makeup to be a witch. It's the one time of the year that I can excel really easily with minimal effort to be a witch. It's like my go-to for ease. Um, yeah, that picture I put on as me as a witch. I'd literally had zero sleep. I had Aurora as a baby, so I dressed her up as a bat. Took her with me. Um, and I think she was about 4 months old, so she was dressed as a bat, and I just embraced the the witch by literally just putting dark lipstick on and a hat. I was so pale anyway because of lack of sleep. It didn't take much effort to be a convincing witch. Um, but anyway, less about the Halloween talk and more about maximising the end of the year and getting more out of your business and more success in 2024. So I wanted to talk about that. And I can't cover everything off in loads of detail. Because basically I do a 6-week course that teaches all of this. So obviously can't really condense that into a little half an hour on Facebook. But I will give a bit of an overview. So if you want to make sure and get yourself PR ready for January, these are the things you need to do. So, number one, you need to look at your target market. Okay, now some of you I know will probably have marketing strategies and have already nailed who your target customer is, how old they are, where they live, approximately how much money they make, that kind of thing. Okay, but now I want you to go one step further. Well, if you've not done that, first and foremost, you need to go back and revisit and do that. But then um, do a little bit more on that. So your target customer, you maybe know how old they are, where they live, what they do, why they buy what they do. But think about their world that they inhabit now, okay? What social media are they using? Do they consume media? So, do they watch the news on television? Do they go on to Facebook for their news? Do they watch TikTok? Do they go on to Google? Do they subscribe to a digital newspaper like The Guardian or The Telegraph or that kind of thing? Do they catch a train or a tram to go to work? And if they do that, do you think they read the free newspaper on there, the Metro? Or do they tend to, are they a podcast person? Do they listen to podcasts when they work out at the gym, when they're commuting, when they're driving along in the car? Um, the more you can find out about your ideal customer, the better. So if you find out they go to the gym 3 times a week, okay, find out are they listening to a podcast when they work out? Do they listen to music when they work out? These are all kind of little quirky polls you could even do in on your pages and in your groups on your social media. So get a feel for, are these people listening to podcasts? Are they preferring music? Do they listen to classic FM? Because the more you can build up their media profile that they're exposing themselves to every day, the better you can then figure out what PR you need to get. Okay? Because if your target market is, say, just off the top of my head, if your target market are all people who live in Surrey, okay, if they order your products online and they all just happen to live in Surrey, okay, then there's not really much point in getting PR coverage in a newspaper in Edinburgh, because unless you're planning to try and get a load of people in Edinburgh to buy your stuff, there's not really much point to that. And yes, you can get the coverage and go, oh, look at me, I'm in the media. And if that's your goal, that's fine. If you just want to be in loads of different publications, that's fine. But you need to think about the big picture of what your target market are looking at and watching and consuming, and then you can figure out how you can get in there. So if you find, for instance, someone I knew discovered that her target audience, they didn't do, the products that they were selling weren't targeted for dogs, okay? But their target audience all happened to own dogs. So, and the person creating the products also had a dog. So I was like, okay, so maybe you need to inhabit the worlds that dog lovers inhabit, because that's a shared like and passion that you have with your ideal client. So the more you understand your ideal client, you can see where your likes and hopes and dreams and passions align with theirs. And then you can figure out what worlds they're in what Facebook groups they may be part of, and in networking groups they go to. So for instance, there's net walking groups where people walk and network at the same time, and people who have dogs maybe might enjoy that kind of thing. If you're a foodie, there'll be networking lunches, networking dinners, wine tasting events. All of these things, the more you can find out about your target audience, the better you can figure out where you need to be and where your messaging needs to be. So I'd recommend doing that exercise now, so you can hit 2024 with an aligned strategy, knowing exactly where you need to go. Does that make sense? I know I've just thrown a load of information at you, but I'm hoping that kind of makes some logical sense and it seems like a fun and easy thing to do. But you can set up some little simple polls and things like that. So just asking different things like, do you go to the gym? Yes or no? When you go to the gym, do you listen to podcasts or music? And if they say listen to podcasts, then you can comment on that and get or send them a message going, just out of interest, what podcasts do you usually listen to? And you can build up this profile of your target customer really, really easily. Um, so the more you can do that, the better. Also, once you've done that, you need to look at what you are selling to them. Now, I know quite a few of you have got online shops and products and things you're selling. Some of you are selling services as well alongside those. So really nail down exactly what you're selling. And ideally, you want a low value product, a mid range product, and a luxury end product. So once you've nailed those, then you can look at getting your key messaging out and looking at your story as well. So I work with so many people in PR who go, "Oh, I'm really boring. I've not got a story. There's no story about me. I'm not interesting at all." And then I have a chat to them about the background, what they've done, the family history, and unearth a really interesting life or a really interesting story. So quite often people who don't think they're very interesting, they are interesting. And just because you don't have anything that you think is life changing to talk about, or you weren't the third woman to walk on the moon, it doesn't mean that other people won't resonate with that and be interested in that, because sometimes even ordinary stories will resonate with your target audience, especially if you've done that work on who your target audience are and you found out, for instance, they all own dogs and they're dog lovers. Well, you might have an interesting story about how you rescued your dog from the streets or something, and which would then really resonate with your target audience. Are you with me? I hope so. So if you're trying to find your personal story, it can sometimes help to do like a mind map. So you in the middle, and then do little lines off for all the different subject areas. So you need to look at any work kind of stories to do with employment, businesses you've owned and run, anything around that. Look at education, anything interesting that you've done. Maybe you've done like some random degree that you've never really utilised. Because I think there was a Simpsons degree once. So yeah, you might have something like that that's a bit unusual, or you might have graduated top of your MBA. Whatever that is, there might be something education related. Family is another one. So look at your family. Is there any interesting family stories there? It might be a personal story about, like mine is, about loss and losing children. It might be an IVF story. It might be a story about you might have gone through a messy divorce. Whatever that family story is might be relevant. It might not, it might be something you don't want to share, which is also fine. But making a note in your um, diagram can really, really help you to realize how much you've got to talk about. I work with a client who can talk about adoption, and it might be you might be LGBTQ. And you might be quite happy to talk about that. You might be have autism in the family. So a health one would be a good one to have a look. Is there any health related story you could talk about? Hobbies, any interesting hobbies you've done, or stories related to that. Charities, or any charity things you've done. So once you build up this mind map of you, the story of you, and all these different compartments that make up that story, I'm sure you'll find a couple of nuggets that are actually quite interesting. And more than happy to help any of you with that as well. So ping me a message if you've got any questions or anything to do with that. So once you've mapped out what you think, what story would maybe fly. So for instance, at the moment, quite a lot of media work 3 months in advance. So now they're planning and writing stories for January. So if you have a product or a service that links in with New Year's resolutions, the common ones, finding a new job, losing weight, getting fit, blah blah blah. There'll be a lot in the media looking for experts to quote on those things and stories around those things. So if you've got a story around that, then that might be one to look at. If you have something about giving up things, changing lifestyles, that might work. New starts, new beginnings, planners, that kind of thing could work. So just map out what those stories might be and what the hook could be to your product or service as well. Now I'm conscious I've thrown a lot of information at you, but hopefully if you feel free to watch this back and take notes, but if you map all of this out, then that's the baseline, the foundation that can form your marketing and PR strategy for next year. And I can help you with messaging. If you look back to um, previous little lives that I've done last month and not last month, um, over the summer, if you have a look back, you'll see I covered off how to pitch to media, how to find what to pitch to media, and that kind of thing. But this is kind of the bare bones that sets that up. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions. If you're watching it back, hashtag replay. Feel free to drop any questions in the comments. I know I speak quite quickly, so feel free to watch back and pause me to make notes. That's fine. And ask any questions. Feel free to reach out to me if you want to. As I said, that was kind of the condensed version of what I teach in a 6 week course. So feel free to contact me and I can give you details for that will then take you through it in a much more much slower, less overwhelming way, should I say, because I know that's a lot of information. I hope that sat okay with you, Joe. Do you have any questions for me about that? Have you done all of that for 2024? Maybe I can do a 2024 planning session for my next one in November. I think there's a bit of a delay on Facebook. Oh, here we go. Funny you should say about the random degree no one knows you have. Many years ago I decided to do law A level for fun and then went on to do my degree. Now I'm thinking I might do another one just because I love to learn and now I have so much experience in intellectual property law. Would love to specialise in that, not as a career. I'm a devoted entrepreneur, but as a way to protect and enhance all we do at Branded and Covered. Oh my, you have lit a blue touch paper here. Good. I appreciate it's not exactly PR related, but would make a great story. Well, it is PR related. That's the point, Joe. It's a story, and stories are PR, and it's really interesting. So it is PR related. Um, oh yes, please, a planning session. Great. Yeah, we could do a planning session next month. Hope it'd be great to get a few more on it, because they always work out a bit better if there's a bigger group, because then you can bounce ideas and all of that. But yeah, No, great. I'm glad I've lit a blue touch paper with you. That is my intention, to bring the magic. um, and yeah, so if you're watching in replay, folks, please hashtag replay, ask me any questions. I hope you've got some value from today. I'll also pop a link to my free group in here, so if you want to jump in there and ask any questions, then feel free. And yeah, I will catch you next month. But as I say, feel free to pop any questions in the comments and I'll jump back. Joe, have you got any questions for me before I jump off? Let me know. There's a bit of a delay on Facebook comments, I think. So I'll just wait a minute and see if she's got any questions. But I'll pop some useful links in for you guys anyway, and I'll do a bit of a planning session for next month. So if you need to work on anything that I've said, then yeah, then I you can catch up this next month and get all your ducks in a row, and then you can join for the planning session, and yeah, you'll hit the ground running. Um, yeah. Any questions, Joe? Oh, someone else has joined us. Hello. Let me know who's joined. Um, and yeah, feel free to watch and listen to it all back. As I say, ask me any questions because I will check back. And hashtag replay. And yeah, any more questions, Joe, before I jump off? No. Okay, well, I hope that was useful for you all. And yeah, I look forward to helping you to really hit the ground running with PR in 2024. Yeah, I know we're not there yet, but we're nearly there. Um, have a good Halloween. Woo, look at my bat. um, Bye.